Welcome and good to have you here with us at the Poolside at Hybrid Software. Um, we thought, hey, should we wait with another web session till the summer period is over? But we thought, no, summer is just too great, and perhaps some people want to hang out with us on the Poolside and get inspired by some new ideas from hybrid software. And in the end, we're always looking forward, looking for new opportunities to get in touch with our customers and our market. So we thought we'd kick off an inspiration session. Um, it is an inspiration session. That means it's not a boot camp. Please do not expect something like a technical training today. This is more like having a look into PACKZ and what values it offers for digital press or digital printing, and get some new ideas and perhaps dig into technical details later. So this is not addressing existing customers and technical personnel, even though they are always welcome. This is also a session designed to give new people who have never been in touch with PACKZ or hybrid software an idea on what we're doing. Okay, as you all see my screen, we're at the Poolside. Just a little general organizational topics. Well, the microphones are switched off right now, except mine and Artur's. If there is questions or comments coming up, just use the chat or the Q&A section within Zoom, and we will have a look at the list of questions popping up after the session. And just be aware that this session will be recorded. I would also like to ask you to wear your swim badge so everybody can see it, not to jump from the pool side. And on the other hand, please avoid taking fries at the pool side. That's really annoying. I hope you wear appropriate slippers. And now we're all ready to go for our pool session. My name is Sven Frerichs. I am sales manager of the German-speaking territory, Central Europe and Middle East. Together with me is Artur Wall, our product expert from the team, and he will be doing the demo today. The topic that we will be talking about is the question of how can hybrid software or software in general help in optimizing your digital press workflow. That means what can hybrid software or software in general do to simplify the process for digital printing in order to make it easier to switch designs from one printing process to another, to perhaps find a standardized way of individualizing, personalizing, serializing content in your print artwork, and many, many more things. So, and one thing which is most important, of course, how do you manage to have a proper pre-press process that allows you to have a full speed production on your digital press, no matter what press that is? So how can we assist? Well, we're talking about PACKZ today. And before we dig into the advantages of PACKZ for digital press, just allow me to have a few words on the general application. PACKZ is a PDF editor that has been specifically designed for the packaging and label market. And it's designed not to creatively work on designs, but to get them press ready for different kinds of printing processes. It covers functionality over pre-flight, over one-up processing, step and repeat. They've got dynamic marks in here. We can do grid-based warping. And there is a whole lot of features to PACKZ as an application, which really can boost your pre-press in many, many different ways. Usually we see that companies switching to PACKZ will increase efficiency somewhere in between 15 and 20%. And that is actually something that our customers give back to us. So it's really worth checking out. PACKZ itself is a standalone application with so many possibilities that we can never cover in a 30-minute session. So we will focus on the values of PACKZ, which is the latest release for digital press. Let's have a look. We've got our small spider build up here, and we will not go into every single detail, but what we've picked out a few ones just to show you the benefits of the current version of PACKZ. First thing that we want to look at is the environments. It's a new way of configuring PACKZ as an application to simply allow the operator to focus on his current job. So if you are working for different customers, for different products, you always have different, let's say, processing standards in the back of your head, and you need to pick the right settings for pre-flight, for trapping, for I don't know what, the right marks. This is really where we aim at. So we can really build up environments that group together a whole series of settings and hide everything else. So you can really concentrate on the things that are important and necessary for what you're currently doing. The next thing is automation. Well, we have to say that usually automation is closely connected to having a workflow automation server, such as Cloudflow, for example, which is another product from Hybrid Software. But in the end, um, it is no longer the case that you will always need a workflow server. There will be things which you can only do with a workflow server. Yes, that's right. But we have introduced a technology called PACKZ, which are actually intelligent action lists that allow automation of repetitive tasks straight inside the editor with full visible control. It really can simplify so much, and it can really accelerate your process in Prepress and also stabilize. We will have a few examples on PACKZ throughout the show. Then we will be looking at color conversion, because PACK7 has got, well, sort of not a new feature, but also a new feature. We had color management before, yes, but now we chose to change our color engine and introduce color logic as the main color transformation technology inside of PACKZ, which offers a huge list of benefits, and it also allows to do advanced color conversion inside of the editor, which we will have a look at during the one-up session. Well, that was my short introduction. I would like to pass the torch to Arthur, who will take you to the live demo.
Okay, hi Sven, and hi everyone there out there. Thank you for the introduction, Sven. Sven, and can you confirm that you see my screen right now?
Absolutely, I see your screen.
Okay, great. Then let's start with the live demo. Yeah, so whenever it comes to preparing artwork for Prepress, the process will start with some kind of inspection with to the file. So in PACKZ, of course, you have great opportunities and tools to have some view options here. Maybe, let's say, for instance, you can look at the different separations or turn one off to maybe you will find some issues there or whatever. But in fact, this is not the goal or the things that you want to reach, but the goal is to have an automatic check over the incoming file to make sure that this is usable for your specific process and printing and finishing processes. And for this, we use our Analyze and Fix tool. And as you can see here, within the Analyze and Fix, there are plenty of checks that you can choose from. And as I said, it's depending on, yeah, maybe let's say the customer, the kind of job you're working on. And for that reason, we can store these checks into or save them into proper presets here. But yeah, depending on the product, customer, or processes, users have to take a huge number of settings into account. So this takes time to find the right settings, and it's becoming confusing, or you can choose the wrong settings by mistake. And this is where it comes to our environments. As we see here, they are really yeah, easy accessible, and I have and you can have your environments for different customers or brands, and I have made one for Poolside, let's say, and as a result, you will see that these environments will now prevent you from taking the wrong settings, because only the valid settings are visible at the moment once you've chosen them. So you can set up your application with one click. And among others, this includes even print marks, settings for barcodes and color management and stuff like this. Okay, so let's do the check here right now, and we'll see immediately that our automatic check has find some potential issues here, like for instance, high resolution images, which for sure can slow down your print press process. So it makes absolutely sense to don't sample them all. And we find some or QR codes or data matrix codes or barcodes, let's say. And once the check has recognized the code, they are easily and full editable here in this menu uh, with all options that the codes gives you. And then we find some other potential issues like a mix paint barcode, which can of course lead to some problems and can be fixed very easily. And here we have another red flags for many printers. These are RGB fills or pictures in the RGB. And but let's say I will skip that for the moment, because when it comes to converting colors, we will talk about that later again. And we see very good that here are even some fixes which are some checks which are fixed automatically. Let's say like text and knockout or unused separation, which are removed with just the simple pre-flight in the beginning. Okay, yeah. So then one thing when it comes to editing, for instance, folding carton, is that you have to make sure that you are using dimensionally correct, let's say, it's a structural design here. For instance, you see that the customer have inserted one, but I won't use this. I want to make sure that the dimensions are really fitting to my to my layout here. And PACKZ gives me the opportunity to directly browse into my cut library here. And I can simply add the right technical drawing here. And so that's it. Yeah. Then often, you see here, you have a judgment based on the structural design have to be applied to the layout or to the artwork here. Like here in this case, when you have a look at it, there are some content that that we don't need here. So I can delete this, or I have here some boxes or let's say areas that have to be free from varnish or ink. And how do you do that? Of course, you can do that in PACKZ by just selecting them and join the paths. And afterwards, you can apply the paint here and do that. But these are really, let's say things that you have to do with every design again and again. For instance, another one is to set up your page boxes to describe very clear here where your trim box is here based on my selection, and what about the bleed? It's the trim box, then plus some, I don't know, let's say 4 millimeters. Yeah, see that? Of course, you can do that all manually, but this is a very nice example when it comes to automation in the editor. And yeah, PACKZ give you here the option to store all these actions that I just executed manually in an intelligent action list. By the way, I don't know if you know, but PACKZ have an edit history, which shows you everything that you have done with your file, all the actions. And you see here, since from the import of my CFF2 file, I've executed a lot of clicks manually. And I would just go here and will undo all these steps that I have just done manually here. And now I simply execute my packchain, which will do the same. And if somewhere in the process, if there's somewhere there is a value that has to be made or a decision has to be made by the user, then the UI is interacting with you and ask you for the right value, like for instance here, the bleed distance. And you see it's all been done with 2 clicks, which I can confirm here. If I'm in my current session, I have only 2 actions here. And it's a great way to automate really repetitive tasks that you will have to do on and on again each day with many files, which can really speed up your process. And of course, these actions or PACKZ, better let's call them PACKZ because that's their name, they can be shared across the team to make sure that you secure to increase your security and efficiency across all the workstations. Yeah. Let's go to another really important topic in preparing your artwork, and this is all about color management. Particularly for digital printing, let's say, the print data must be converted into the color space of your press you want to print on. So in most cases, as you see here, you have really a lot of spot colors, but in most cases, this is done very late in the process, immediately before printing on the printing machine or on the digital press. So as a result, any quality losses, technical difficulties often become apparent too late. Yeah? You won't recognize them once early enough, let's say this. PACKZ have an included color conversion or color management system, which allows you here to convert your colors from any color space to your target, to any target what you want. And this could be any press that you're using on in your any press that you are using on. And as we see here, with 1 click, I can convert these colors here under full visual control. See here the results. And if there are any issues to quality, the operator will immediately recognize this here. And as you see here, even we converted directly from the RGB colors into our extended gamut here. And so this makes the whole process stable, and you have the same process standardized and centralized in one place here in your prepress apartment. Yeah, then maybe you have often to need to create figural shapes. For example, for finishes such like spot colors or embossing. And PACKZ speeds up this process tremendously with a specific tool, which is called here the white underprint. And for that reason, let's say we want to create a varnish just for a background. And yeah. And now I just type in my varnish separation I want to create. Voila. And you see immediately that you have your separation here. And don't forget, we will say we want to have ink and varnish-free fields or areas, and then you can easily subtract them and do the same thing for a spot color, spot varnish, for instance, for logos or monsters. And I will just say, but right now this is a spot varnish. And see the result here. Very easy to create these kind of finishing separations. Okay, then there's one more thing in one-up editing. I mean, we've done an prepress check and we have converted our colors. but let's say if we have a proper look at this here, then we have no bleed added here, or the customer didn't have any added any bleed to our file. So we have some options to maybe to create the bleed, but this is maybe complex and time consuming for the operators. And in worst case, we have to ask the customer or the agency to provide us a new file. But within PACKZ, we can simply add bleed with PACKZ. And let's do that by just executing this. And here again, the PACKZ asks me for the distance of the bleed. And we will see what will happen in a few seconds, that now all the tasks that I will do usually will do manually will be executed within this PACKZ. And the bleed should be there in usually very fast, but yeah, it's still calculating here at the moment.
I guess we have to see that there is a lot of effort put up to creating bleed manually, because if we look at the shapes that touch the die cut here, an operator would have to go through individual objects and see what ways there are to create a bleed out of that. And this is something that we're able to do with a PACKZ at a glance. But the point is, I was following your demonstration, Arthur. I think it's got to do with the different layers that we put on top, because we always have to see that the PACKZ is a series of individual actions that apply to a certain file setup, and we have changed the file setup in between. So here we can see the result of the auto bleed, which is now limited to the background layer, but it has created the individual non-destructive elements around it.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, and maybe just to point out, the good thing is it's in a while Sven was talking, you see that the bleed is in a separate layer, which means that you can't destroy your file by doing this in a wrong order, like I did. And if you don't like your bleed, you just create them. You can just execute the action, the PACKZ again, and create it again. Yeah. So, but now definitely I will have to make this very fast and quick again. But now you will see the power and how easy it goes. And let's subtract. Yeah, so here. Okay. And then do the same thing for our logos and monsters.
The reason we're doing this double now is because we mixed up the order in which we take the actions, but we want to show you the power of automated decoration. And this is what we want to have the varnish for, because it's really putting some value into the story.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Then let's say now the file is looking much better. Yeah? I have my auto bleed here. We have created the spot varnish or the varnish for the backgrounds here. And at the end of the editing, one up, there usually is a process to get an approval from the customer or something like this, which means that you have to create an info panel or add an info panel or print a card or something like this and fill in all the informations, and maybe you want to add some or uh, um, to let's say to create some separations only to show the customer the spot colors or just the varnish color in the background. Yeah, which means this can be a lot of manual action again, and it is very time consuming in the end. And I will do this right now, even here with a single click in the packages. In the packaging, you will see that right now. All the stuff that I'm talking about is going on in the background, which means if I have a look into my sidebar, I see that I have now created 3 pages. The first one with the really pre-filled legend, which can even be connected to an EIP or MIS system, which means if you have um, your job ID here, all the customer information is updating automatically. And I have here my view without my spot color and one only for spot color and the die cut here. So let's say you see with these 3 examples that automation can be very, very helpful even within the editor, and multiple action can be automated here in PACKZ, which saves you a lot of processing time. And yeah, you can share that among all your company or your colleagues and all workstations. They can all benefit from the same, simply editing and the same security and efficiency here.
Very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
which leads us to another big topic, Sven.
Yeah. So we've taken a look at one-up processing and a little bit of automation and color conversion, and of course also pre-flight in the connection to environments, which simplify the general UI by focusing on the applicable settings. And another big topic in digital press is of course VDP. So VDP has been there in PACKZ for quite a while already, because we decided to create a vendor agnostic VDP solution so that customers can sort of choose which digital press to buy based on the properties of the press, but not the software that the press manufacturer ships with it. And at the same time, we wanted customers to be able to standardize their VDP process in Prepress. That means as early as possible, no matter what digital press they would actually be using for production later on. We have enhanced the VDP option in PACKZ with a new feature called Patchworker, because we've seen more and more companies having to do personalization or individualization in digital press, because the brand owners like to use that as a direct link to their end customers. So what Patchworker does is it respects or it sort of puts a dynamic to specific contents in your graphical artwork, and then given a configuration which you can apply to it, create individual versions by repeatedly by repeating the different objects, twisting them in angles, scaling them up and down, and whatever. So the interesting thing here is that feature has by now only been available in the software of press manufacturers. And that would mean that the actual versions which you would like to have are being created usually right in advance to the press process. And now we're taking the VDP process, including patchworking, into the pre-press department, which of course makes it a lot easier to keep that process under control and make it work the same way, no matter what press you're using. Another topic apart from VDP is um, the step and repeat creation. You may know that PACKZ offers a lot of step and repeat functionality to create your print layout. And we have been working on a new module called PACKZizer, which is there since, I don't know, 1.5 versions. But nevertheless, we have enhanced the algorithms in here, and they allow you to create mixed ganging imposition forms for different scenarios, which we will be looking at. The reason why this is so valuable is that there is an increasingly higher number of print designs, whereas the volumes that are printed are getting lower and lower. So this puts some pressure on the whole topic. It, on the one hand, favors digital press because it's easier to print low volumes in digital press instead of creating maybe flex or offset plates. But on the other hand, you need a smart and quick mechanism to create those mixed forms and ideally save as much material or substrate as possible. This is what we'll be looking at in the same or in the next part of our session. Arthur, stage is yours.
Okay, great. Then let's just open another file and talk about or have a look into our VDP Prepare module. Um, as you can see here right now, I've prepared a little thing. And if we have a little look closer, here's a serial number and a data matrix code, which is already connected to a database, which is really quite good known even in PACKZ or the versions before. But right now, let's see what we can do when we talk about really, the individualization or variabilization of the file, which was Sven were talking about, and how you can do that. For instance, if you want to use a background here, I'll just add one to my file. And right now, the target is to make this file variable with the background. And by maybe zooming in, turning around and flipping, zooming out, to go to some other areas of the background, so that the goal is to make every file unique and give them a really catchy outfit. So that should be an eye catcher in the shelf. First of all, I create a new layer, create a new VDP layer, dynamic layer on the bottom here. And then let's see, we open our VDP Prepare again. And now I just add my background to my context here, give it a proper name, background. And now for better visibility, so that you can see more clear what I am doing, let's just focus on the dynamic layers here. I have some options to transform the image here with our patch worker, which means right now I can say, what's the zoom level? Like something between 300 and 600. Is it allowed to flip vertical, horizontal, and the rotation angle as well? And you will see the results immediately, which means it's in some way it is completely randomized, but there are some some rules for the random applying of your background here. And you can see and check the results even by switching through the different entries here. And as you see it, it's very simple to set it up. There is one more options, maybe to let's say to apply images or PDFs several times somewhere in your artwork. And I will do that right now here with the Smarties. Same thing again. First add them here so that they're still visible. And now I will go for the patch worker as well. And right now you see they're switching, they're shifting down there, because now I can say I want to move them only within my background first. And now let's say they should scale from 10 to maybe 30%, flip vertical, horizontal. And in the end, I can choose how often they should be repeated. And I see the results. And if I turn on back my other layers, then I see the finished results here. And I see that it's now completely, in one way, it's completely randomized here. But if you have a close look, for instance, to the Smarties here on the bottom, and you switch through your different entries, you see that the result will calculate again and again, every time new and unique. But if we go back to one, for instance, we see that's exactly the same result, means the patch worker is working deterministic. So if a layout has been calculated once, it remains this layout. Okay. Yeah. See that we can really have nice options to do this here with a patch worker. But till now, we're only speaking about one-up editing. And of course, we have to create a step and repeat, and maybe even a step and repeat with this variable data. And let's do this. Just save my file here. And PACKZ gives us many options to create a step and repeat. One is the nested step and repeat, which is based on a CFF2 on a cut file, which is necessarily to make sure that your step and repeat form is really matching to the tool that you're using in. And first, I will just set up my plate and paper sizes, and now I have access again to my CAD library, import it, and this time I will just drag and drop my VDP one up here. And what we see now immediately is that PACKZ recognizes that these are variable data in the background. So it's fully automatically, you have your the options to set up your bleed here. And till now, until now, this whole file is still, let's say, completely generic. It's completely independent on any device that you will print it on. So let's insert mark. And right now, PACKZ gives you the same VDP logic options to prepare your file. And now you can say, so what kind of machine you will print that, if it's on web feed or sheet feed, let's say. And you have the options to switch between your entries again to see and have an preview of what the result will be. And in the end of the step and repeat editing, it comes to that the print file should be provided to the press, and this is done with the VDP execute, where you can apply the settings which are really specific to a print device, like creating a single file or multiple files with multiple pages and so on. And yeah, so which means you can prepare your VDP step and repeat for each print device in your company. Then, yeah, there's the one more thing, and this is not a real variable data printing, but it's the issue with the decreasing print runs and increasing of different artworks, and yeah, how to create a collective form for, let's say, step and repeat. And next to the different options that PACKZ gives us to create a step and repeat, we have the so-called PACKZimizer here, which now provides us with different algorithms for the different printing methods. And let's say we want to create a new collective form from a single template, which means we want to respect some die cut tools that we have. And for this, I will browse to my die cut library and say, okay, these are the tools that should be respected. I have the options to say there should only be one label per column, and now I can simply um, add my files to it. And now we want you to have, or PACKZimizer needs to have the print runs of the different articles, of the different items. And yeah, of course, we can edit them here and say, this is the amount and this and so on. Or a better way is I will clear it here again, and I will get the informations about my ordered items from my ERP by just importing them, which is much faster and more secure. And now I can just say some production information like this should be allowed to turn 90 degrees, and just let the PACKZimizer prepare your calculate the different options that you can choose, even some inconvenient here with different formats. But let's say you choose this one, you have detailed information about the ordered amounts and the print run then and the end that will be created. And then the end, PACKZ will create your complete file. And you see that it's completely consistent. If we open our nested step and repeat again, we see that it is in fact a nested step and repeat where we can make some adjustments like adding the bleed and of course insert some marks that will fit to my process. And so this is a really easy way to calculate and create your collective form for optimized production, which leads us to the end of the demonstration, the live demonstration. And I will hand out to Sven again.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's have a quick recap on what we've seen today. Hey, you're too fast.
Oh, it's completely automated. Huh?
The show is completely automated. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for the demonstration, Arthur. The second part was about VDP and step and repeat. And let's have a look at what we all talked about today, which we think is most valuable to, hey, what are you doing? Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Perhaps you should just switch off the presentation mode and show the individual slides
Yeah.
straight in Keynote. So just to make sure that we don't miss a thing. So what we've seen is we're able to automate and save clicks and save time and get more stable and also get more stable results in working in a team by using PACKZ. And the PACKZ are really an interesting feature inside of PACKZ because they allow automation straight in the editor and not just by grouping a series of actions in a PACKZ, but also the PACKZ are enriching the use of the existing tools. And that is putting a new level of efficiency to PACKZ as an editor. The next thing he had is the centralized color management. So the idea of just doing all of the color management tasks for the digital press in one application with only one color engine. And this is, of course, also creating a higher stability and reliability in the process, as well as, an easier way of transforming between different color spaces in case you have to switch from one machine to another. The first thing that we looked at was the environments that help you focusing on the work that you actually have to do by just hiding everything that doesn't have anything to do with your current task. Then again, after the one-up part, Arthur, we have been talking about variable data printing, which is also a centralized and unified machine vendor independent solution within PACKZ. And it allows you to do VDP straight as part of the Prepress tasks for any machine that you want to use. So the actual machine related setting is just the output setting at the very end, where we create optimized PDF output files that respect the structure that a specific digital press needs to have. And then we're done with that. And until then, everything is just working in the same consistent way. Then we have the intelligent layout creation with Paximizer that also helps in counterweighing the increasing number of designs and the increasing number of mixed layouts that you need to create. So it's been a whole lot of topics, and I'm pretty sure that you will have some questions after that. On the one hand, I've seen in the questions and answer section that some already arrived. We will go through these. Please make sure, in case you have questions which cannot be answered today, just to get in touch with us. We have listed the account managers from the German territory, Central Europe and Middle East here. But in case you're coming from the rest of the world, which is a nice place to be, just send a message to sales@hybridsoftware.com or get in touch with your local hybrid software representative, because we're happy to hear from you and we're happy to explain a little more in detail. I would like to have a look at the questions that came up from the audience, and perhaps Arthur can answer a few of those. There is one here. I'm just reading through it and try to translate it. Okay, so the question actually is if step and repeat layouts, like we've seen them in the last demo, can be used as templates to increase the efficiency when having to produce layouts of the same kind more times.
Yes, very simple answer, just yes. Once you've
Okay.
created a step and repeat layout, even with your, say, marks or whatever, you can simply change the stations so that the content is changing, but all the other things is used as a template then.
All right. Next question would be, is it possible to automate the step and repeat process with PACKZ?
One of the few things that are not possible to automate is step and repeat options in PACKZ. So the answer is no. So you can automate really a lot of action like we saw in the demo, but not step and repeat. It's therefore still a workflow service needed if you have to do a lot of them.
All right. Yeah, I guess there is limitations, but there's another question in that direction, which may point into another direction. There is a question: are PACKZ compatible with Cloudflow? I guess that will point to Cloudflow as our workflow server system, or let's say digital production environment. But on the other hand, also the PACKZ module inside of Cloudflow.
Yeah. Once you've created one, a PACKZ, then it's completely integrate. You can completely easy use this in Cloudflow with one exception. If you build a PACKZ which is based or started with an manual interactive selection, then it won't work in PACKZ in Cloudflow, because obviously you need to have a selection first. So this is one exception, but let's say the PACKZ that have shown like to create these varnish-free areas or add an info panel or something like that, they will work in Cloudflow as well.
So that means As soon as you have identified a process which you can automate with PACKZ without having to do a manual selection by dragging the mouse over some objects,
Yeah.
or that needs a value to be added, then you can also transfer this automation of the PACKZ into your Cloudflow workflow.
Yeah.
That's great. So it enhances the automation capabilities with a Cloudflow workflow as well. That's a nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's another question on VDP. After creating a VDP configuration, can I change the data source without applying properties to graphical objects again?
Yes, you can simply change the data source. It's a really a simple answer on this.
So that means
Yeah.
it's sort of like becoming a template for VDP, right?
Yeah. As soon as there are not major changes to the layout, then you can use it as a template. Yeah, if you want to, connect it to different data sources.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, one last question in the bank. We still have 75 people with us. That's very nice. Does PACKZ offer prepress options for conventional printing methods? Well, yes, of course it does. I can answer that. Thanks for that question, because in the end, we have taken a look at the focus of digital printing today, but PACKZ has, of course, been designed to address many different needs in conventional printing like gravure, like flexo, like offset, and also, of course, different products such as labels, flexibles, shrink foils, displays, corrugated, whatever, you name it. So there is a whole lot of other functionalities which we haven't seen today intentionally, and that are specifically designed for the requirements or the hurdles that maybe the prepress for conventional printing of packaging gives you. There is another session coming up this Thursday about our Flexo workflow, which will not completely deal with PACKZ. There are some other products involved or solutions involved in there, but perhaps that's an interesting point to start your journey if you're in conventional press. All right. There are no more questions from what I see in the list. Somebody is asking, can you please explain again? Yeah, the question is what?
Everything.
Pascal, thank you. You've been answering in the chat. That's also great. Is there video tutorials? Well, I would like to say, if you switch one slide further, Arthur, there is
this
no
one?
to the bottom, please. Thank you very much. Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Now I see you've got the wrong presentation. That explains everything. All right.
Yes, maybe.
No matter. So on the one hand, if it comes to tutorials, we don't have tutorials in the way that you may be used to them, but we have a great and constantly growing YouTube channel that shows a lot of different things about our solutions and products. And you may find some details there that you could use as a tutorial. On the other hand, I would like to promote our general hybrid software website, which is showing the sort of hybrid heartbeat. We've got a section which is called the Pulse that is constantly showing news from the hybrid universe, such as customer testimonials, new releases coming up, new solutions that are being introduced into the market, new partnerships that we're forming, and it's a good place to stay in touch with us. All right, so I would like to say thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry we've exceeded it a little, but I hope it was entertaining and you take something with you. And hopefully we will see one or another from you on coming Thursday for the Flexo workflow. All right, take care, stay safe, and see that you get a new drink from the pool bar. Bye-bye.
Bye.